make mushroom dumplings, and I'm going to flavour these with some of those typical Chinese herbs and spices. I'm using 2 types of mushrooms today. The first one are these dried shiitake mushrooms. Really easy to rehydrate by just pouring some hot water over them. So you can use any type of mushroom that you like. It's nice to have a little mixture in there. I've got the dried ones and I've got these brown button mushrooms. I'm being a bit meticulous in terms of cutting these down to quite small pieces so that we don't have any large pieces that might pierce my dumpling wrapper. Another key ingredient that I'm going to use today to really flavour these is coriander. Okay, into a bowl with all of these lovely ingredients. Now for some more flavour, we're going to do some grated fresh ginger. Not a whole lot this time. My chicken is quite gingery. Probably ends up to be about a teaspoon. I want to put some garlic in here as well. Quite a nifty little trick to not bother to peel it. Just grate it off there. Hopefully most of the skin ends up in your hand. So let's see how these other mushrooms are getting on. They're really well hydrated and soft, which is great, ready for me to chop them up. I do want to reserve some of this liquid to use as a stock for when I steam my dumplings. Oh, I can smell it. It's really sort of earthy. Shiitake have a really wonderful aroma. Now we'll just dice these up. My final 2 ingredients are dark soy sauce and a little bit of sesame oil. So the fact that it looks quite dry at this stage, that's okay, because I know that those mushrooms will start to give off some of their lovely liquid as they cook. Ha, that smells really good. The ginger, the garlic, the coriander, 2 types of mushrooms, soy sauce, bit of sesame oil in there. That is going to be fabulous. I've got some store-bought dumpling wrappers, which makes life really easy. You can make them yourself, but the beauty of buying these is they are perfectly made, complete with flouring them in between, so they tend not to stick to your board. I've got a little dish of water with a pastry brush, and it's just good to have a little wipe on one side of the semicircle. It's just going to help to seal my little dumplings. So let's put a nice tablespoon of filling right in the centre here. Fold over and press that first little bit down. I just make a couple of little pleats on the board. I find that that's easiest, and I can do the rest in my hand. That will just form a really nice seal so that the food gets steamed and cooked inside our little wrappers. Sometimes the shape of them is described as being like little purses. So you just have a little flat bottom and then that sort of pleated area up the top like an old-fashioned purse. I find that by the time I've made a few, I'm starting to get the hang of it and things are looking just a little bit more neat and tidy, more like an authentic dumpling. But by no stretch of the imagination would I be employed in a Hong Kong dumpling shop. So let's cook them. What I'm going to do with these little dumplings is they're just going to be fried off ever so lightly in a pan, and then we'll add a little bit of that stock just to the bottom of the pan so that they steam and cook the dumplings all the way through. It's good not to have them touching in the pan. Look at that. Pretty. So these have now got a little bit of colour on their underside, which is what I'm looking for, and it just helps them hold their shape a little bit more. And now I'm going to steam them to finish off the cooking. And the trick here is just a gentle pour and then straight on with the lid. Woo! So I've poured enough liquid just to cover the bottom of that pan and generate some steam. I've still got some of my stock left over. If that starts to dry out, I'll add a little bit more stock. What I'm looking for there is that the wrappers start to go quite translucent, and that tells me that that flour that makes them up is going to be cooked all the way through and tender and delicious.